Rolex Submariner. The watchmaking community changed forever in 1954. It was the year that Rolex revolutionized the watch industry with the release of the Rolex Submariner. It was the Submariner that forced the watch world to manufacture strong and durable tool watches with real-world applications. It just so happens to be that the iconic look and feel of the current Submariners, Rolex Submariner 41, are almost identical compared to the first ones in production. Over the years, many have tried to copy what the Rolex Submariner has accomplished, but all have fallen short. For our Rolex Submariner review, we are writing from an owner's perspective. I personally purchased the Rolex Submariner 126,610 LV from my local rapid and authorized dealer, Rise Nichols. It was my Rolex Submariner that was the inspiration for this article, which led me to write about my hands-on experience. For years, I rejected the notion that the Rolex Submariner was the best dive watch on the market. It by no means is the most technical, and for a three-hand dive watch, it does not provide more in specs than competitive dive watches priced at half the cost. It wasn't until I wore the Rolex Submariner on the wrist for a few days for my mind to change. There is something special about the Rolex Submariner. It's something that is more of a feeling than can possibly be quantified. After personally experiencing ownership and wearing it in normal settings, I couldn't help but think that the Submariner was perfect in every way. The dimensions are great. The oyster bracelet is comfortable on the wrist. The legibility is superb. The accuracy is spot on. And I felt confident wearing it. When I mention confident, I'm not referring to status or wealth. The feeling of confidence is related to my faith in the Rolex Submariner to function perfectly and be up to the challenge of anything that I can put it through. This feeling is largely what I attribute to the overall success of the Submariner. It wasn't too long ago that Rolex was mostly known for being a tool watch, not a luxury watch brand. As the brand has transitioned into the luxury space, they have done an excellent job at maintaining the strength of the product, which was what propelled them to their current status. Features of this watch that are important anyone considering buying a new or used Rolex Submariner include luminosity, wearability, and usability. What you will notice wearing a Submariner in low light conditions is that the hands and indices are extremely bright and maintain their glow for a long period of time. You would be surprised to know how many dive watches we have got hands-on with that their luminosity fades after a short period of time. That will not be an issue with the Submariner. The wearability of the Submariner might be the best of any watch I've ever experienced. This is due to the finely tapered oyster bracelet and the oyster glide lock extension clasp. It's virtually impossible to not be able to perfectly position a Submariner on the wrist. Finally, let's talk about usability. Anybody that is used to wearing automatic watches knows that if you aren't constantly wearing them, they eventually run out of power. The new Submariners have an impressive 70-hour power reserve, which means you can put the watch down for a couple days and put it back on without resetting the time. Current Submariners house the Rolex Caliber 3235 and 3230 movements. Both calibers are in-house chronometers that have an accuracy rating of 2 seconds per day. What makes these new movements even better is that they have a power reserve of 70 hours. It is refreshing to see Rolex innovate and push the edges of performance and affordability. Finding movements this accurate with this level of power reserve are not easy to find. Where the 3235 and the 3230 differ is one has a date function while the other one doesn't. This is because there is one Rolex Submariner no-date model that is constructed of stainless steel and has a black bezel or dial combination. The Rolex Submariner has a water resistance rating of 300 ohm or 1000 Fort. This is all due to the oyster case design. In 2020, Rolex introduced a complete redesign with the diameter increased to 41 being the largest change. Prior to that, the cases have gone through a period of expansion and contraction based on industry trends. What we can safely report is that in each iteration, the Rolex Submariner case has always been a great fit and has always been reliable to a depth of 300 meters. Available case materials for the Submariner are 904L stainless steel, 8-inch yellow gold, and 8-inch white gold. The most popular Submariner references are constructed of stainless steel. The Rolex Oyster bracelet for the Submariner is designed for performance without sacrificing comfort. It is very well known that Rolex produces the most comfortable metal bracelets in the industry. Between the Jubilee and the Oyster bracelet, there isn't a close second. In this article, we have already mentioned the Oyster bracelet, but it's important to go over again in more detail.